Hello everyone. Today we are going to study the last chapter of Geography Channel, which is Land Resources of Karnataka. This chapter gives us a detailed information about the patterns of land used in Karnataka, the importance and types of farming that happens in Karnataka, understanding the distribution of the important crops of Karnataka and their production. So let us start with the chapter and start with the topic land utilization. Karnataka is geographically very well placed. It has a variety of landforms, various soil type, vegetations, mineral, have abundancy into water. It has groundwater resources and land being one of the most important natural resources. Its proper utilization enables the state to develop. When it comes to land utilization, the use of land for various different purposes is called land utilization. That's how we term land utilization. Under these titles are various different things included, means the lands which are cultivable lands, the area which is being covered for the forest, fallow land, land for residential purposes, for the construction of roads like various roads, railways, dams, canals. Barren land means the land which is kept open with not into utilization. Land used for grazing purposes for animals and just have greenery or grass, etc. Proper utilization of land is the foundation of the economic development. Karnataka state has 19.05 lakh hectares of geographical area. It is used in the following main purposes. Pattern of land utilization in Karnataka. This shows how the land is being utilized, which particular sector uses which all or how much land is used in one particular sector. Net area sold. The distribution of net area sown is not the same all over the state. There are various districts where the lands are under cultivable land, which is more. Some places have less land into cultivation and into that. Gulbarg district has the largest area under cultivation. It is followed by various other locations like Vijaypura, Tumkur, Richur, etc. Bangalore district has the least area under cultivation, means the lands utilized under cultivation is the least in Bengaluru. This gives you a picture of the percentage or the graph of different kinds of land utilized in across Karnataka. Widespread urbanization means modernization or the development of modern cities is one of the main reason why Bangalore has less land under cultivation. Uttara Kannada, Dakshin Kannada, Udupi and Kudagu have less cultivable land as well. Now second comes the forest area. Uttar Kannada district has the largest area under forest belt. Shivamogga, Chamarajanagar, Chikmagalur, Kudagu, etc. Few of the places that have significantly large area under forest. However, Vijaypura is a place which has the least forest area. Even Bengaluru rural, Richapur, Bidar and few of the districts are very less when it comes to the devotion they have shown towards the forest area. Land not available for cultivation, another section of the land utilization. This land is not used for cultivation but for other purpose like railway, like to go ahead and place the rails on the tracks or on the land. Road formation is done, residential homes and buildings have been made, industries and irrigation projects have been constructed. In recent times, use of land for such development purposes have increased. Bangalore urban district is first place in given for such purposes, because Bangalore seems to be very urban as compared to the other locations. So here in this particular section of land is utilized at the maximum. It is followed by Shimoga, Tumkur, Mysore, Dakshin Kannada district, etc. It is least in Bidar districts. It is moderate in other districts. Other uncultivable land. The land use consists of permanent grazing lands, trees and groves. These are places that are just kept as greenery. They are not used for creating or cultivating any agricultural product. It is found largely in the area of Shimoga, Tumkur, Kolar, Chikmagaluru and other related districts. It is leased at Gadak and Dharwad district. Such lands can be reclaimed and can be used for agriculture at any point of time in case if there is a demand of such thing. Fallow land. Land which cannot be cultivated for more than 2 to 3 years, because these lands gets absorbed by the crops when it comes to the fertility. Like if consistently it has been cultivated, they lose their fertility and they have to keep barren or kept open to ensure that they regain their fertility back, the nutrition back. Kalaburagi district has the largest area of such kind of lands. It is followed by Richur, Vijaypura, Upala, Tumkur districts, etc. There are very little kind of a fallow land when it comes to Chikmagalur, Mysore, Uttar Kannada and Udupi districts. However, such lands have increased in these districts in the recent years. Such lands can be reclaimed and utilized for agriculture, but on a periodic basis. Now, after land, when it comes to the another topic which we are going to discuss about is going to be agriculture. The cultivation of land for raising crops is called agriculture. It means if we generate anything or cultivate anything, be it food crop or cash crops, that is known as agriculture. Animal husbandry, pottery, beekeeping and another things are also included in agricultural. Nearly 61.4% of the people in Karnataka are in rural area and they completely depend upon the agriculture for their livelihood. So we can summarize that agriculture is also one of the main occupation for the people of Karnataka. What is the importance of agriculture when it comes to Karnataka? Agriculture is one of the historical primary occupation of Karnataka. It's been into seen and it's been into existence since very ancient, and the existence of Karnataka. It is the main source of livelihood for many people in Karnataka. It is the backbone of our state economy. Like state generates a lot of revenue, be it export, be it our own fooding, be it intertransfer, anything so that we can generate money from buying and selling and producing more and more of agricultural products. Economic progress depends on agriculture. Agriculture provides employment to people. Not just agriculture, like growing of agriculture, the processing of agricultural foods, the agricultural industries, and other related things as well. Like if we are going ahead and producing wheat, then manufacturing the wheat into flour is also a kind of extra employment that is being provided to Karnataka people or the state people altogether. It is a source of revenue to the state and earn foreign exchange as well. Many of our things goes abroad or into another state as well, that gives us economy within the country from other states as well, and also helps us to generate really good foreign exchange of foreign money that could be utilized for the development of the people and the state. Cotton, silk, spices, tobacco, etc. are the agricultural products that are majorly exported everywhere. Agriculture helps in the development of territorial occupations like transport, banking, insurance. Because in agriculture, when we export things, we require a lot of transport to be included, banking to have bulk transfer of finance, and also into insurance as regard to crop insurance or travel insurance, or wherein insurance is required for the maintaining of food and the quality of these foods. It plays an important role in the political and social system of the state as well. Now, let us study about the type of cultivation. Different types of crops are grown according to the size of the land holding. What is the fertility of the land? What is the availability of water in the land? The amount of rainfall which has been there? What is the climate, and which climate is suited for which particular crop? What are the physical features? Whether it is a highland, it is a lowland, it is near to the coastal area, all these kinds of things. What is the market facility? Say for an example, if we produce this kind of agricultural products, what is the demand of this product into the market, be it India or abroad? The types of cultivation are classified according to these factors. So these are the major things which are kept in mind when it comes to producing any food or any agricultural. Either it could be exported, either it could be considered into a food crop, or it could be considered into a cash crop. They are substantial farming, irrigation farming, dry farming, mixed farming, shifting cultivation, commercial farming, plant farming. These are few of the types of farming that has. Sustainable farming means how long it can be sustained. Irrigation farming means a lot of time it is dependent completely on the water. Dry farming is associated with dry foods wherein you can easily go ahead and produce things which can grow in a dry season. Mixed farming could be a combination of farming. Shifting farming means once produce one thing and then in the other content produced another thing. Commercial farming, which can be used for commercial transactions. Plantation farming means plantation of tree or crops are related with the plants. Crops grown by using water from canals, tanks or wells is called irrigation farming. As I was just summarizing, wherein irrigation facilities can be used. Paddy and sugarcane are the main crops grown under this farming. Cultivation of crops which depends on rain is called dry farming. Dry farming means which is associated with dry temperature and wherein it is also associated with rain. Some of the examples of this are ragi, jawar, oilseeds, etc. The cultivation of a few annual crops on a very large extent to ensure that they generate money and are associated with planting and plantation are known as plantation farming. Say for an example, coffee, tea, rubber, cocoa. Crops that are grown not just for domestic market but also for international market, and they generate commercial money to us, be it into internally within India or gives us money from abroad, is known as commercial farming. For example, tobacco, cotton, jute. The crops which are grown by farmers for home consumption and not for the market purpose is known as sustainable, which ensures that people who are living can sustain. People sustainability products are known as sustainable farming. This is an ancient type of agriculture wherein people cultivate to ensure that their food needs are fulfilled. Nowadays, one of the very important and very famous farming style which has come into existence is known as mixed type of farming. It is in addition that two combination things are being done. Shifting things means that growing of crops associated with dairy farming, silkweaving, or sheep rearing, or beekeeping or fishery means like a two combination of things, a mixed combination of things, be it a combination of two crops or be it a combination of one crop, and any of these secondary activity associated with crop is being generated and revenue is generated or it is utilized for the fooding purpose is known as mixed farming. The major crops of Karnataka can be summarized into various different types, like the places wherein the major responsible for this area are, like how is the crop being divided in Karnataka, which crops need to be grown in which part of Karnataka, and what are the things which is required, are basically responsible for few key features. These features are soil, climatic condition, relief features, irrigation facility, tradition of the farmers, and market of the agricultural products. The crops of Karnataka can be basically classified into food crops. Those could be paddy, ragi, maize, pulses, millets, commerce, and the another part is known as the commercial part, that includes commercial crops such as sugarcane, cotton, tobacco, etc. Now, as it can be clearly divided, the two different parts is food crop and cash crop, or the commercial crops. In addition of these different types of horticulture crops, or these different types of crop genres, and floricultures are also there. Means horticulture and floriculture are two different things which are also associated. Now let us study about the major crops of Karnataka. The major food crops of Karnataka are paddy. Paddy is a very important food crop in Karnataka. Rice is the staple food or the main food for the people of Karnataka. Paddy is grown in 28.2% of the total cultivable land. Irrigation facilities, when it comes, they have been very well and properly channelized. Use of chemical fertilization to ensure maximum productivity is very much there. Hence, the improvement of the production of paddy has definitely come into picture. It is a very tropical crop. Cultivation of this particular crop requires really high temperature and a huge amount of rainfall. Areas having less rainfall and needs irrigation facility to be very proper, ensuring that this cultivation can happen. Cultivation of paddy requires level lands, means the land should be a plateau land or a straight land. Fertile clay and alluvial soil are really good for the cultivation of, for the agriculture or the production of this particular crop type. Nearly 70% of this crop is grown during June and August, and the harvesting time or the cutting of these crops time has to be nearer to this December. It is a kharifa crop. Even in summers, at some places paddies are grown and are available between February to June. This is called rabi crops. In Malad, paddy is grown by broadcasting method, and in the plains by transplanting method. These are two of the methods through which different areas grows paddy. Let us go and discuss about the paddy growing areas. Paddy is grown in all the districts of Karnataka. The Krishna Tungabhadra Valley, the Kaveri Valley, and the coastal districts are famous for this cultivation. Raichur district stands first in the production of this particular crop cultivation. Next come Ballari, Shimoga, and Mysore, and all the related districts come back to back. The other areas also which comes into the growing of paddy are Tumkur, Hassan, Chikmagalur, Kodagu, etc. So majorly this particular crop, which is paddy, is grown everywhere in Karnataka. Next come is Jawar. This is second most important crop in Karnataka. Until recent times, the area under Jawar cultivation was more than that of paddy. But in recent years, it has decreased. Total area which now comes under Jawar cultivation is 26% of the cultivable land. Karnataka ranks second after Maharashtra when it comes to the production of Jawar in India. Jowar is the state food of the people of North Karnataka. North Karnataka people generally eat this food. It is mainly used for the preparation of rotis, like chapatis. The stakes of jowar plants are used as cattle folders. In South Karnataka, jowar is primarily grown for cattle fields. This crop also belongs to the grass family. Like the grass family or long stick families wherein a lot of grasses is there, to that family. Its botanical name is sorghum. It is a tropical crop, requires moderate rain and moderate temperature, means like the rain should not be very high or should not be very low, and the temperature should be on a middle temperature. Mix of a combination of black and red soil and alluvial soil is considered to be the perfect combination for growing this jowar. It is a rain-fed crop and grown by using broadcasting method. It depends on the southwestern monsoon. Means the influence of monsoon is very much there when it comes to the cultivation of this particular crop. Now let us discuss about which all are the areas wherein this crop is grown. Except for few of the districts of South Karnataka, all other districts grows jowar like Vijaypur, Richur, Bidar, Bellary, and Alar, like Kopala and all the names which are mentioned over here. Vijaypura stands first in the production of jowar in the state. Then comes Tumkur, Madhya districts also produce jowar. After jowar, it comes to ragi. This is very nutritious food grain and has a lot of importance in the farmers' life. Many of the farmers or many of the people since ancient have gone ahead and eaten this thing. It is very, very nutritious. Ragi ball and are very much known for and has been prepared across Karnataka everywhere. In Karnataka, it is the third most important food grain after paddy and jowar, and it is cheaper. Cheap grain means the cultivation costing is very cheap. The stakes of ragi plants are used as fodder for cattle. Means even cattle can be grazed by this. Cattle can also be fed by this. Ragi can be preserved for many months. Ragi is a typical crop. High temperature, moderate rainfall is required for the cultivation of this. Red, sandy and loamy soils would be really suitable when it comes to growing of this plant. It can withstand severe drought, means even at dry places it can grow. In some places, ragi is grown by using irrigation facility. Just with the irrigation facility and not having any natural water body, but still ragi can be grown. Many laborers need it to transplant ragi supplements like laborers, farmers, or wherein physical labor or hard working is required. Many people go ahead and eat ragi because it gives a lot of strength. Pull out the weeds to harvest and store ragi. It is an important kharif crop. It can be grown even during summer season by using irrigation. Now let us discuss about the growing areas of ragi. Karnataka stands first in the production of ragi in India. However, its utilization has been reduced. Ragi is now grown only at 14% of the total cultivable land. The ragi growing area are concentrated in the district of Southern Medan. It is a very traditional crop of old Mysore. Jowar is the main crop in North Karnataka, whereas ragi is the main crop in South Karnataka. Tumkur is the leading producer of ragi. Then comes Ramnagar, Bangalore rural, Hassan, Madhya Kolar, and other places. This was all about like the paddy, jawar, ragi. These three were the main crops when it comes to food crops. After food crop, the second division which is associated with the crops are the commercial crops. First pointer for commercial crops will go to sugarcane. Sugarcane is the most important commercial and industrial crop of Karnataka. Karnataka stands out to be the fourth in the production of sugarcane, and it is a very typical and tropical crop. It is grown in an area where the temperature is really high and needs a lot of rainfall or great irrigation facility to ensure that the growth is really good and the cultivation is really nice as per the requirement. Sandy loamy soil with a combination of red soil is the most suitable soil type when it comes to the cultivation of sugarcane. Since sugarcane has to be transported to the factories and as soon as it is harvested, it really requires a good chain of transport system associated with the production. Sugarcane belongs to the grass family. It grows to a height of 3 meters and is and contains a lot of sugar content with which a lot of different products like jaggery and sugars are made. And annually it gives a lot of money when it comes to the commercial part because sugar is one of the most important ingredient in many foods. Belagavi is the leading producer of sugarcane when it comes to the area of Karnataka, and then followed by Madhya Mysore, Shimoga, and other districts. Madhya district has specialized in the cultivation of sugarcane even from the pre-independent days. The second most important commercial crop is cotton. Cotton is a fiber crop. It is being provided and or it is a raw material for the cotton industry. Besides, it is used for making carpets, bed and pillows. Cooking oil is produced from cotton seeds. Cotton seeds cakes into use for the cattle fields grazing as well. Like the cattle can also be given feeding for this. Cotton is a crop of the tropics and the subtropics. It requires a moderate rainfall, but the temperature should be really high and requires black soil which needs to be grown. Cotton has been used for a long time in the daily life in Karnataka. Long, medium, and short staple cotton are the different varieties of cottons. Karnataka grows more of medium and short staple cottons. Cotton is also known as a Kharifa crop. It is sown or grown in August to September. It is a rain-fed crop. It can also be sown with the help of irrigation facility. The growing areas of Karnataka is considered to be various districts like Havari, Dharwad, Mysore, Bellary, Raichur are few amongst those districts that produce cottons and are abandoned into it. Dharwad districts rank second when it comes to producing cotton and Havari district ranks first. Nowadays, there are areas where cottons are grown. Pest and disease have become a major problem in these areas. As a result, the development of disease tolerance and high yield variety of cotton by the agricultural research industries has come into picture. Many research has been ensured to ensure that the cultivation of cotton is proper and is into a usable form. There is improvement in the yard production of cotton with the help of these research and development. The third commercial crop when it comes to Karnataka is tobacco. It becomes to be a it is actually associated, tobacco is associated with a lot of narcotic things which is related to the agriculture or intoxication substance. Tobacco is used in the manufacturers of cigarettes, cigars, and all other stuffs. The Portuguese introduced tobacco in the 17th century in India. Subsequently, people started growing this particular crop in Karnataka as well. Presently, it is one of the major commercial crop state when it comes to commercial crops. It can be grown in area wherein the rainfall is from moderate and the temperature is high and the soil requirement is loamy soil. Karnataka grows a variety of tobaccos and few of them are listed over here. It earns a great amount of foreign exchange because tobacco is used across globe. When it comes to the growing area, Karnataka ranks fourth amongst the tobacco growing state in India. Mysore district occupies to be the first in producing tobacco. Then it comes to be Hassan, Shivamogga, Kudugi, etc. Tobacco grown in Karnataka is considered to be world class and is most of it are exported. Like the production maximum of them are exported, be it into other state or be it into another country. Then comes the coffee. Coffee in Karnataka is very famous. It is one of the beverage crop and are widely grown. Karnataka ranks first in the production of coffee when it comes to India. Let us go a little bit about the history of the coffee. A Muslim fakir or priest named Baba Buddin planted coffee for the first time, which is around 1670 in the hills of Chikmagalur, and from then the history has continued till date, and people have been growing coffee like anything. There are various coffee states in various locations of Karnataka. Karnataka produces two types of coffee, mainly coffee Arabic and coffee Robusta. These are the Arabic is of a little better quality when it comes to the international market. Coffee is a typical or a tropical crop which can be grown very well in the steep slopes of the hills with heavy rainfall. Clay mixed soil, like the soil has to be a little moist. That kind of soil is very suitable when it comes to growing the coffee. Coffee plant cannot withstand the direct rays of the sun. So it cannot just go ahead and put into a very high temperature wherein the sun is really high. Coffee is mainly grown in the Malnad region, which has all the condition that is very much required for the cultivation of coffee. However, apart from that region, there are various other regions as well wherein coffee has grown. Coffee has a share of 70% of the Karnataka has 70% of the share of coffee production in the country. It grows largely into Kudugu region. After Kudugu, it comes to Chikmagalur and other region as well. Coffee grown in Karnataka is of really good quality, hence enjoy great demand, be it national or international. This is the very reason why Karnataka is also known as the land of coffee. These were the all chapters associated with geography. Thank you.